In this session, we are going to discuss about blood relations. Blood relations is a very interesting and important topic from reasoning, where we are supposed to find out the relationship between two given persons from the given information. Before we take up any example, let us first understand some of the important terms from this topic. The first point here which we need to understand is children of same parents are called siblings. For example, if a couple has got 3 children, or let's say 2 children, the 2 or 3 children there are called as siblings together. The second point is one's husband or wife is called spouse. The third point is mother's side relatives are all known as maternal relatives, and the next one is father's side relatives are all known as paternal relatives. For example, we know that uncle is nothing but mother's or father's brother, but to be specific, mother's brother and father's brother can be differentiated as maternal uncle or paternal uncle. That means maternal uncle is mother's brother and paternal uncle is father's brother. Similarly, we can use these terms maternal or paternal for all relations which are similar on mother's and father's side. Let us now understand some important relations. The first one here is father's or mother's father is called as grandfather. So we can say that father's or mother's father is grandfather. If you want to be specific, father's father can be called as paternal grandfather and mother's father can be called as maternal grandfather. Similarly, father's or mother's mother is called as grandmother. Again, we can be specific by classifying it as paternal grandmother or maternal grandmother. The next one is father's or mother's brother is called uncle. Similarly, father's or mother's sister is called aunt. Similarly, these two relatives can also be classified as maternal or paternal depending on whether they belong to mother's side or father's side. The next one is uncle's or aunt's child. That means your parents' sibling's child is called as cousin. So any of your parents' siblings, that is your uncle's or aunt's child, whether it is a male or female child, is referred as cousin. Next one is sibling's son. Sibling is nothing but children of same parent. So sibling can be your brother or sister. So your brother or sister's son is referred as nephew, and similarly brother's or sister's daughter is called niece. And last one here is son's or daughter's child. So one's son's or daughter's child is called grandchild. Let us now understand the next set of important relations, that is relations in law. Husband's or wife's mother is referred as mother-in-law. So one's spouse's mother can always be referred as mother-in-law. Similarly, husband's or wife's father is called father-in-law. Husband's or wife's sister is sister-in-law, and husband's or wife's brother is referred brother-in-law. So as you can see, in all these cases, these are the relations which are on the spouse's side. Spouse's mother, father, sister and brother are referred as mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law and brother-in-law respectively. The next one is brother's wife is again referred as sister-in-law, and sister's husband is referred as brother-in-law. So if you can understand here, we have two types of sisters-in-law. One is your wife's or husband's sister, and the second one is your brother's wife. Both of them are referred as sisters-in-law. Similarly, we have two types of brothers-in-law. One is the one which comes on spouse's side, that is spouse's brother is brother-in-law, and the second one is sister's husband is referred as brother-in-law. The next set of in-laws here are son-in-law and daughter-in-law. Daughter's husband is referred as son-in-law and son's wife is referred as daughter-in-law. So friends, if you try to understand from this, in general we can say that in-laws are nothing but those relations which come from some other family. That means they are not born and brought up in your family, but they become a part of your family at some point of time in your life. Let's say mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is like your mother as per the law. She was not born or brought up in your family, but she becomes your mother once you get married to someone. Similarly, father-in-law, sister-in-law and brother-in-law joins your family at some point of time. They were not born and brought up in your family. And likewise, the second set of sister-in-law and brother-in-law, these are sisters and brothers as per law. And they were also not born in your family. They become a part of your family once your siblings get married. That is, once brothers get married, his wife is referred as sister-in-law, and once the sisters get married, her husband is referred as brother-in-law. Similarly, in case of son-in-law and daughter-in-law, these are like your children, that is son and daughter as per the law. They were again a part of some other family. They simply join your family when your children get married. So daughter's husband should always be referred as son-in-law, and son's wife should always be referred as daughter-in-law. In general, construction of family tree is considered to be one of the best methods to solve questions related to blood relations. So let us first understand how to represent the relationship between two persons with the help of a family tree or with the help of a diagram. In this case, what we do is represent each male and female person with some symbol. Let's say a male person is represented with plus and a female person is represented with minus. So whenever we get to know that a particular person's gender is male, we simply put a plus sign on top, meaning that this person is male. Similarly, if the person's gender is female, we can use minus sign to represent that this person is female. Or you can use any other symbols to represent these two genders. Let us now see how to use these notations in understanding the given relationships in a very simple manner. The given statement here is A is the brother of B. So very clearly we can understand that A is a male person as he is the brother. But the gender of B is not known to us. It can be male or a female person. So what we can do here is write A and put a plus sign on top, which means A is a male person, and simply draw an arrow indicating that A is the brother of B. So once we look at this notation, we can understand that B's brother is A. Similarly, it can be used for A is the sister of B. Here we know that A is a female person as she is the sister here, but the gender of B again is not known. So this can be shown as A with a minus sign on top, and we can simply put an arrow showing that sister of B is A. So very clearly B's sister is A. Let's take the next one, that is A is the wife of B. Here very clearly, once we know that A is the wife of B, it is obvious that B is the husband of A. So we know the gender of both the persons, that is A is a female person and B is a male person. So A can be shown with a minus sign and B can be shown with a plus sign. Let us now see how to show this relationship in the diagram. So A is a female person, B is a male person, and since this is a married couple, we can have a notation as shown. Here we are using a double-headed arrow, which means that these two persons are married to each other. So in this way, we can simplify the given statements with the help of simple diagrams. One more point which we need to understand in these three cases is there is no generation gap between the two persons A and B. For example, when we say A is the brother of B, A and B are siblings, that is, they belong to the same generation. So that is the reason we show them on the same level. Similarly, in case of A is the sister of B, we have shown them in the same level, that because they belong to the same generation. And even in the last case, that is A is the wife of B, these two persons are of same generation. So they always should be represented on the same line. But once we get to know that there is a generation gap between the two given persons, we try to represent them on different levels. Let us understand that. For example, A is the son of B. Here very clearly we know that A is a male person as he is the son, but the gender of B is not known. We can only say that B is the parent of A, but is B a male parent or a female parent is not clear. So we cannot talk about the gender of B. But the other point which we can understand from this statement is there is a generation gap of 1 between these two persons A and B. So always show A at the bottom because he belongs to the next generation and B on top. And we can say that B's son is A. And we can put a plus sign here, which means A is a male person. Let's take the next one, that is A is the mother of B. Even in this case, we can see that A and B has a generation gap of 1. So these two persons must be shown on different levels. Here we know that A is the mother of B. So very clearly A is a female person, but the gender of B is not known. We can only say that B is the child of A, but is B a female child or male child is not clear. So we cannot talk about the gender of B. Let us see how to represent these two persons in the diagram there. We can simply say that A is the mother of B. So you can write mother here and put a negative sign, meaning that A is a female person. So as we can see, B's mother is A. That's how we try to understand the relationship. In the first case, we can say B's son is A. Let us now take the last one. In this case, you can see that A is the grandfather of B. So from this, we can say that A is a male person as he is the grandfather. But again, the gender of B is not known. B can be a male grandchild or a female grandchild. So we can say that A is a male person and he is the grandfather. That means the generation gap between A and B is of 2 levels. So in this case, we need to represent A and B as follows. We simply try to represent them with 2 arrows, meaning that A is the grandfather of B. So if you can see this, B's grandfather is A. Even if this grandfather is not written, it is very clear that B's grandfather should be A. Why? Because we have a generation gap of 2 and the gender of A is male. So the obvious relationship between B and A has to be that of grandfather and grandchild. So friends, this is how with the help of simple notations you can understand the given relationships and construct a complete family tree to find out the relationship between any 2 given persons. Friends, remember that there is no hard and fast rule that only these notations have to be followed. Everyone can have his or her own notation and construct his own family tree. Until and unless we don't disturb the relationship between the 2 given persons, we can have your own notation and construct the family tree as per your convenience. But one point which I would like to mention here is always try to understand the gender of a person and the generation gap between the persons, because these 2 points will help us to eliminate the wrong answers very quickly. So always try to understand from the given statement the gender of the 2 persons and what is the generation gap between the 2 persons.